So I've been daily driving it's a 6-speed X3, and I was pretty excited about the car when I got it because it's pretty rare. But then after a couple months went by, I was like, all right, this thing's too slow. It gets shit miles per gallon, doesn't carry any passengers. So I was kind of looking for a new daily, and I wanted something really cool. I looked around at a couple V8 R8s, and then my buddy was like, hey, we should go to the Porsche dealership and drive a Porsche, because like I've never driven anything other than this 964 over here. I've never driven a modern Porsche. So we go there, and they have a pretty nice, it's a 997.2, so it's like a '09, just base Carrera, and it's PDK. And they're like, yeah, you should drive the PDK, the PDK is the shit. And so we get in the car, and just already off the bat, I see the steering wheel doesn't have the paddle shifters, but it has like the 4 buttons. So like you use your either thumb to upshift, I want to say, and then like the finger buttons on the back were downshift. So like it's all backwards and not paddles at all. So we get in the car, we were test driving it, and I'm like, every time I would shift, I would have to like stop and think like, okay, this is downshift. Like it was terrible. So then the salesman's like, oh, well, you can use the paddle and push it back and forth, or but that's completely backwards too, because like in any race car or sequential shifter car, you push it to downshift and you pull it to upshift. But this one's backwards. Like everything about it's backwards. And on top of that, like the shifts were pretty slow, and like it didn't rev match, so it was like lugging, when you were downshifting. I don't know. I was very underwhelmed. That was a pretty big letdown. So, but the car was really nice, and that was the first time I've been in like a modern 911. So I get online and I start looking at, I'm just like, I wonder how cheap I can get a GT3 for. And lo and behold, in Charlotte, like 2 hours from here, there's a Guards Red '07 GT3, black interior, gorgeous, like gorgeous. And it also just happens to be the cheapest GT3 in the country. So, I'm like, oh, I can be like Tavares on YouTube and buy the cheapest GT3. But so I call the next day, and I'm like, hey, you guys still have this? It's at McLaren Charlotte. And so like, yeah, we still have it. And I was like, is there any wiggle room on the price? And like, oh, we could be a little flexible on the price, but we've have it for sale for about what we have in it. They've had it for a couple months. So I get in the car the next morning and go down there, drive the E30 down there, which is probably the first time an E30 is pulled up to a McLaren dealership to buy a car. And so I get there, they have it waiting for me. And the car is, we'll just say it looks better in pictures than it does in person. I mean, it was nice, but you could tell the previous owner had tracked it a bunch. Like the whole front bumper was just covered in rock chips, like around the fender arches. There were a bunch of rock chips there. We know it, which is expected. Like those cars are supposed to be tracked. I mean, they're race cars. So I look around the car a little bit, and he's like, let's go test drive it. So we hop in it, and immediately off the bat, that's the fastest fucking car I've ever been in. Like that is the most insane track focused car I've ever been in. Like it made the E30 feel like a 7 Series. Like, you guys have seen the video of my E30. It's got solid motor mounts. It's got a crazy body mount shifter. It's on coilovers. This car was on a whole different level. And so I go in there and I'm like, all right, well, I'm interested in the car. They obviously knew I wanted the car because I drove 2 hours to go see it. And I was like, for this to make sense for me, like I need to be in the car at 72. They're asking 76. He's like, nope, sorry, there's just no way. I was like, all right, well, there's a couple things that are broken on the car. Like it had a digital screen, like, in the cluster that showed you like your digital speed, tire pressures, and like a couple other things. And that was completely burned out. And then that had like a little clock on the dashboard. It's like the chrono clock for lap timers. And like literally the hand came off of the the second hand is just floating around in there, like came off of it. And I'm like, all right, well, like this is going to cost me probably a couple grand to get this stuff fixed. And he goes, well, that doesn't affect the way the car drives. We have it priced accordingly. I was like, all right, I step outside, make some phone calls, come back in. I'm like, all right. It's like I can do 74 on the car. That's the best I can do, which is within 2%. Like that's 2% off of like their asking price. And he just stands up. He goes, all right, have a nice day. And so I leave. And like I get like an hour into the drive on the way back, and I'm like, man, like I really want that car. Like it's the cheapest one in the country. I can't find another one, and they know that. They know I want the car. And so I call the guy back. I'm like, look, man, like what, like, can you take $1,000 off it? Like, I'm gonna have to buy a new cluster to fix this issue with the screen. And so he gets on eBay and he's like, looks like clusters are about $600. He's like, so I'll split the cost with you. So I'll come $300 off the price. And I'm like, I mean, this is just ridiculous. I'm like, do you guys want to sell the car or not? I asked him, I was like, I mean, do you feel like my offer was insulting? Like, I was like, are you guys like this with all your cars? And anyways, I was like, all right, let me call you back in a little bit. And then finally he calls me back about half an hour later. He goes, hey, someone just came by and left a deposit on the car. So right now the car is pretty much sold. You know, I'll let you know otherwise. And I don't really hear from him again. And so I get back and I go to a Porsche dealership, and they have another car that was a 07 Carrera S, 6-speed. So I drive it and I'm like, this was nice. And I look around at the market, kind of see where the price is at. I got them off this price a lot because they had it for a while. And so finally I went back the next day and I picked it up and brought it home, and I really think it's a much better buy than the GT3. One, it was half the price of the GT3, about similar miles, much better shape. Like, this guy took care of this car. All the paint was original. The whole front end was clear broad. Still smelled new inside. Like, there's no nicks or scratches in it anywhere. So super nice car. And the other thing for me is, like, the GT3, like, as cool as it is, I mean, it's literally a track car. Like, I wanted something, I needed it to be able to be a daily, you know, if I need it to be. And the GT3, like, you know, you can't go over speed bumps. I probably couldn't get out of my driveway. You know, I just wanted something that was comfortable but fun, has nice AC. And I think the Carrera S just fits that bill better than, you know, beats the GT3 in every category. Sure, the GT3 is faster and sounds better. But, you know, I'm a big believer in slow cars are more fun, and I'll make a video about that later because a lot of people think I'm just absolutely crazy when I say that. But I don't know, I'm pretty confident in my buy, and I think this car will treat me well. She'll be able to drive it for the summer, put 10,000 miles or so on it, not lose any money on it. So I'll definitely be making some videos with it soon. I got to learn how to drive it too. You know, I've never really pushed a rear engine car like I can push the E30 to its limits consistently, like very comfortably, almost too comfortably. So I got to learn how to drive this thing so I don't end up like a statistic 911 owner that like lets off in the middle of a corner and snaps the back into a guardrail or something. So I'll be keeping you guys updated on how the car is. I'll make a video with it, and I'll see you guys next time.